Greetings, this is Nobbler, and welcome to Adore the Quest, Episode 5. In previous episodes, we have been going through the main quest line of the game Adore in its early access version. Currently, the quest that we have to complete is to go to the Ancestral Graveyard and find a character named Tarl, who can help us unlock the secrets of our weapon. For those of you just joining us, in previous episodes we cleared the first 2 stages and we are in the 3rd stage, following the main quest line. So if you are just joining us for the first time, I would recommend going back to episode 1 of Adore the Quest, is what I am calling this series. So we mentioned the staff, the weapon of the Adorer, and this is a staff that I currently have that is not working perfectly according to the pop-up, the tooltip that you see here. And so I believe this quest, if we look at the right side of the screen, the search for the craftsman Thune, is going to help us unlock the potential of the staff that our Adorer wields. And it also hints, if you read the community forums, there's a lot of speculation about futures and what kind of staves, or staves? How would you pronounce that? Staves, I guess, the Adorer might use. So there is definitely some possibilities with how this game evolves with the weapon type. We'll see what the developers have in store for us, and I'm excited to see what just happens with this basic one when I finally do get its potential unlocked. So without further ado, let's go adore some creatures in the Ancestral Graveyard. We have this quest here on the right with the exclamation point beneath it that says "Beat the Adorer." And anytime you see that flashing exclamation point, that is an indication that that is your current quest, and that's the objective zone that we need to beat. So it looks like we have 2 blessed creatures. We'll have to be careful. We might want to capture them, but that usually means that I take a lot of damage because I'm not a great player. So if they're awesome, we might just capture them and test our luck. We do have 2 fragments out of this level, which is awesome. A particle of Gatordrick, so we could recuperate one of our essence or particles, because it takes 2 essence or particles of Gatordrick, to capture the blessed creatures. So if we capture 1, we have a total of 3 particles of Gatordrick in our capacity to use to capture 1 blessed creature, and it costs 2 to capture them. So that would leave us with 1 remaining, so we would go get this particle of Gatordrick, and then go back to get the second blessed creature if everything works well. What I'm hoping for is that we will not encounter the second blessed creature before we encounter the particle of Gatordrick. If we don't get that particle, then we won't be able to capture that second creature. But if it is a blessed Mikra, that would be awesome. But who knows what we'll find. The Ancestral Graveyard, you can tell by the purple color of the zone, is full of arcane type creatures. And that would be compared to Gatordrick or Kiha Mountains, where you would find, I would suppose, more nature or beast style creatures. Right, so let's just dive in. I have equipped a bit of food to begin this journey, or I've acquired a bit of food because I do expect to take some damage in this level. And that food is going to keep us alive. So up at the top of the screen there is a Zarki. That's a high damage, I believe, mystic creature, followed behind by a Felwyn. Easy to take down. And you might have noticed since the previous episode, I have reconfigured my my hotkeys. So previously I was using E to activate the environment and R to summon back all of my creatures, but you'll notice now I have it set to Q is to activate the environment and E is to summon back all of my creatures. And that's just for the ease of reach. I'll just go ahead and tell you I have kind of small hands for a guy, and that means that it's easier for me to reach the E key to summon back my creatures than it is the R key. Just a bit of a microsecond of action seems to make a difference in this game because it is fast-paced. So I am getting used to those buttons, so if you see me making a lot of mistakes, that's probably why. But in other news, we do have 3 particles of Gatordrick in stock currently. You can see in the top left of the screen, so we are not collecting this particle of Gatordrick that is in the map. We'll collect that after we encounter the first blessed creature, if we decide to try to capture it. And again, I just have to say how much I love the fact that this game allows the player to teleport across zone lines from anywhere in their current zone. Oop, and here comes a Felwyn. So we've got it knocked down. We're going to go ahead and avoid those attacks. Oop. Best we can anyway. This capture circle is sure difficult. There we go. So we've got quite a little horde attacking us here. When you take down a blessed creature the first time, it takes away half of their icon sphere, I don't know what to call it. And then they will summon 2 adds. And the weaker the blessed creature is, the easier they are to capture. And there, we've just got a blessed Felwyn. How about that with a medium mystic essence? Gotta say thank you, shout out to Diego, person who's been following this series on YouTube. The advice that you gave about keeping your distance from capturing creatures, that was solid, and I appreciate that very much. So shout out, thanks for that. And it works well. As you can see, we were able to capture that creature, taking maybe half damage. If you watch previous episodes, you'll see that my performance was definitely a lot lower than that, where I was taking close to 100% damage just off of one blessed creature capture. And Felwyn is a tricky opponent. You saw the way that it lunges towards you and has a static effect that it launches into the playing field, making it difficult to capture that enemy. We do have a piece of meat here that will restore 30 hit points to the Adore, bringing us back up to 89. And I'm going to go ahead and use that just because I know there is another blessed creature out there somewhere. You can see that capturing the first one used up 2 of our essences, so once we clear this area, hopefully the other blessed creature isn't in the same zone, we'll go back to grab that particle of Gatordrick that we saw in the first area. So that we could capture the second blessed creature, and with luck it won't be a second Felwyn, you know? We just captured one of those, so it would be a bit of irony. Is that the right use of irony? To say, oh look, there's a second blessed Felwyn. Could build a whole team of blessed Felwyns. And we do have a Felwyn already, but it's just a regular version, so now we'll be able to compare those. We are going to go for maximum health this time around. Stamina regeneration is great because it lets you summon your creatures more quickly, but the way that I play is a healing and DPS combination. And so the speed of the summons isn't as important to my playstyle as the survivability. And while my healing powers don't bring me back to full health quickly, you get 2 health points for each orb that I pick up, I believe. You notice that it did get me up to 130, back up to full health, just by collecting that particle. So if you need a heal in a pinch, that's great. Great to have those in the level. But also because we know that there is a boss fight in here, we saw in the quest information, there's a character named Talon or something like that that we're going to have to beat to find Thune. And because there's a boss fight, I think having more hit points makes the most sense. Not to mention the blessed creatures that we're up against. As I said, I am not the best player. You know, I've never been a person who's been so into video games that I had to get my precision down so exact that I could beat the hardest game levels. You know, maybe when I was like a teenager. But that was a very, very long time ago. Let's just say that, you know, my first video game was the original Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers on the NES. You know, for computers, I guess it would be Robot Odyssey, if anybody remembers that old gem. That was around the time that Oregon Trail was all the rage. So that might tell you about what generation of gamer this guy here, Noblet, is coming from. So, you know, after, shoot, 30-something years, 40 years, I don't know, of playing video games, I just don't care to try like the hardest precision. You know, I've been there, done that, don't have anything to prove anymore, and it's something to say about this game, The Adorer, or Adore. It's pretty chill, but at the same time it does provide some challenge. Like, I can't scale up the difficulty, I'm not sure if that's a thing, but depending on your playstyle, there's certainly, you know, variety enough that everybody should be able to find their groove, find that little bit of challenge that they enjoy. And hey, maybe the game's not hard enough for you, and if that's the case, try playing it with lower level creatures. If you look at my roster here, I've got a level 4 Kruth, a level 5 Zaya, and a level 5 Domu, and it appears that they've reached their maximum level. The level 5s are not gaining any more experience. And here I've got one of my blessed creatures, Scraw, is only level 3. And as they continue to grow in power, I'll slowly cycle them out with other creatures, because once they hit that level cap, I guess there's not much point in using them for, I'd call it the grinding levels, so in between, like when I'm not following the main quest or trying to meet a certain objective, I could switch those creatures out, playing easier zones where there isn't a boss fight, to gain the experience in my alternate team. And I do find, like in previous episodes, I said that I'd probably need to form a second and third team to really play effectively. But I'm finding that's not the case. It looks like we found our second blessed creature here. It is the Crystal Lizard, whose name I could not tell you. And I don't really use that character in my strategies. It's not a thing that I do. This fell one's annoying me. Knocking back my creatures, putting out his whirlwind. Alright, we got him. Right, I lost my focus there for a second. So as I was saying, this creature that summons a little diamond wall, they're really slow to attack. They do okay damage, and it's just not really a good fit with my model of playing, because when you put that wall up, nothing gets through it. No projectile attacks, no enemies can cross through, and you can't attack through it. And there's really no reason in my playstyle to stay reserved. Like, I don't want to stay behind a wall because there's no benefit to that. So we're just going to take these guys down. Oh, Zarky just hit my Kruth, not good. And we are taking damage from another creature. Oh, we need that healing orb, don't go away. So Kruth took some big hits there, oops. We're going to switch Scraw with Kruth, let Scraw get some frontline action for a minute. And that was purely my bad. We had a Zarky there, they do serious damage. Zarky is awesome DPS. They got one really big hit. Hits for about 30 damage on a crit, even better. And my stupid self just lets Kruth stay out there and get tagged by the hardest hitting creature I've seen in game. So we'll hopefully find some more healing energy to get Kruth back up in the game, or else we might give him some food just to bring him back into the fight, because Kruth is my main DPS. He's got extra attacks, he's got good DPS, and interrupts the enemies pretty well. But this Blessed Scraw is also good. I've given him 2 extra attacks, so he attacks 3 times. He's got Divine Protection, so if he gets brought down to 0 health, he'll be protected. And he hits pretty fast and hard. I think as a blessed creature compared to the standard version, Scraw is pretty solid. The standard version of Scraw is just a little bit too slow. And I say just a little bit because the generic enemies tend to swing just a little faster than the generic player-controlled Scraw. But the blessed one seems alright, so if you're thinking about it like you haven't thought about Scraw on your roster, check this out. Let's show you what Scraw does. Look how quickly that attack comes out the first time. And his second attack comes out just in time to prevent the enemy from queuing their attack too. So pretty solid. Blessed Scraw, I'm digging it, especially with the additional attacks. Seems like a pretty solid character. And probably going to keep him around until later in the game. Missed a healing orb there, that's alright. Oh, here comes Zarky. So yeah, Blessed Scraw is a pretty solid character for, I'm guessing this is mid-game, the third zone, because it looks like there's two other regions in the map, so I would say the third one is probably right in the middle. For difficulty, we're starting to collect blessed creatures. So that tells me that probably by the time we reach the fifth zone, we'll be looking for those super blessed creatures, possibly even legendaries, to join our teams. But that will be in many episodes into the future, because right now, we're just taking it one quest at a time in this series, seeing what we can accomplish in about 1 hour's gameplay from one episode to the next. And there turns out to be quite a few layers to each of the zones, so it's not just a quick go through and clear the zone. It actually turns out that there is several quests that kind of build into this really nice storyline about the game. Learning, like, where do the characters come from, how do they know each other, what happened in this village, and you have a role in all of that. No pun intended, I was just rolling around like using that dodge roll. Yeah, you have a role. See? Okay, yeah, bad jokes. I think I promised last episode I wouldn't say any more bad jokes, but I'm totally going to do that. So here we go. This on the map, if you look, there's a red arrow, indicates that that's the boss fight. So we're just going to do a quick health check, seeing how all of our creatures are looking. We have Kruth is low. So what we're going to look for is food that has divine protection but does not replace his stats. He's got bonus attack speed already, and I like that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's what the food would give him. He's got 2 critical attack, bonus max health, and evasion. Setup that I do like. So if we give him one of the foods that has the green stats, that will replace some of his traits, not all of them, because he has leveled up 4 times. Got some of the statues of Draknar traits. But we do have some food here that will offer up 55% of his health and give him divine protection without wiping out any of his traits. So as you can see, that will bring him back up to full health and give 25% divine protection. And we have a 10% food with divine protection that we could use in a pinch, like if one of our creatures is getting down low and we're worried about that. Yeah. Plus we have some meat, just some straight up healing effects, which would not bring him all the way back up to full. And then these other foods here, which we're probably going to use for the Adorer. If our front lines start to fall, we'll just feed those trait foods to the Adorer. Possibly to Scraw, but I'm not too worried about the extra gold benefits. That's sort of a meh thing, because the developers have done an awesome job. Oh, I think I just fed my creature something. Or me something. Oh well. Anyway, let's give the... oh no. The one I was going to give to Kruth. Whatever. There we go, he's at 68. Right, so where was I at? The bonus food items I will give to Luca because he doesn't have traits, and I've already got traits set up on these creatures that I like, so I will burn those traits essentially on characters like my main character, so it doesn't take away the traits of my minions. Okay, on with the fight, here we go. I have no idea what this fight entails. It's another Adorer, so I assume they're going to summon. He's tall. He's got a mohawk and a beard. Epic. I like it. And check out those jade earrings. That's pretty cool, too. They might be turquoise or some, I don't know what. So, the Adorer thinks that this guy is Thune, but his name is clearly Tarl. So in the previous fights against adorers, what it seems like is they will summon their own creatures, and even if you bring their creatures down to 0 health, those creatures still get summoned, just like our own could be. And so the key when fighting an adorer is not to focus on their pets, but rather to time our attacks between their summons to hit the adorer directly, and then avoid their creatures' attacks. So it's kind of a give and take. Like we give them some damage, and then we take some evasion. And so timing's going to be critical. We want them to try to summon all of their creatures at once, so we're not stuck in a back and forth ping pong pattern of just dodge, dodge, dodge. And that way we could also slip in our own attacks. And we have to be mindful of the directional arrows. We want to direct our creatures to attack the adorer, Tarl, instead of Tarl's creatures. Taking down his creatures is just going to invite more damage to our creatures and to our adorer. So, Tarl is a duelist, and he's been looking for fights. So he's been waiting for people to come find Thune and intervening, kind of gatekeeping. Sort of like a record label would for a musician. He says, "Prove yourself in a duel." He's done talking. Oh, he's got a boating. Nice. And a Zarki. So far, so good. We got some healing orbs. Time to bring out some truth on this guy. He's got blessed creatures, too. How about that? Oh, Bodine got me. So you see, with a little bit of strategy, it's not that bad of a fight. You just have to be careful on the timing. And we didn't even need to eat on that one. So here we go. Tarl has been defeated. Now we get to find out what happened to Thune. About Craftsman Thune, here it is. This top is the only thing that remained in his destroyed carriage. So that quote right there tells us that Thune disappeared. He's gone. And that Tarl apparently might have been one of the people that came looking for him. So what a sad story. Maybe Tarl failed to find Thune and only found his wrecked carriage, and out of shame decided to stay out here and keep his secret a failure by defeating anybody who came looking for Thune after him. I mean, I'm telling you, the story in this game is so good. Like, the characters are something believable. Like, you can see there's this whole, like, social order of, like, the way that these people have their beliefs, how they deal with social issues. It just really seems like real, believable characters. So, you know, just well done. I love it. We didn't need to eat any of our food either, even though we kind of accidentally fed Luca a little bit at the start. That's okay. Everybody came out, all of our creatures looking good. Scraw, excellent performance during that fight. And Kruth was even able to get back up to full health because of the healing effects of Domu and Zaya. So I like this team. Like I say, DPS healing combo seems to work pretty well. To continue the quest, we just go back to Gatordrick Refuge. We have this little top that will get identified with Baldin, the artifact guy. And we captured a mystic creature named Felwyn of a blessed quality, and we'll be able to compare that to the regular version. So that's pretty exciting to see what's going to happen with that. So here the quest continues. We are now finishing maximum potential of the Adorer's staff. We have to talk to this guy here, Balding. It says, "Hey, we found this top." So Baldine wants 1 fragment and 200 coins, and we have 1,000 coins, so that's no biggie. We have 3 fragments, again, no problem. We got all that from the previous level. Well, not the coins, but we got 2 fragments. And we got some coins. Ooh, so the staff lets us summon infinite creatures. When activated, we'll press X to activate it. I can summon creatures without spending stamina, so that is what I would call, like... Do you, the viewer, do you remember a game called StarCraft? Do you remember a term called Zerg? Popular in Korea back in the late 90s. World Championships kind of set the stage for modern gaming. And it was a strategy game where there were creatures that I think they were called the Zerg or something like that, and basically they were a swarm. You would summon cheap units, and a whole lot of them, and you could do it faster than the other player type casts. So basically your goal when you were Zerging was to just summon more stuff more quickly and overwhelm your enemy before they had a chance to build up a defense. So that's where that term comes from, and it looks like this Adore's staff that we have right now, the first one that becomes available in the game, is a Zerg staff. That's what I'm going to call this. This is my Zerg staff. If I could rename it, that would be the Zerg staff. I'd probably put like a spider on the end of it or something. So that's pretty cool, especially since I'm running a DPS team. So I could summon out like all 3 of my DPS characters at the same time with the healing character and just have one massive round of damage. That's going to be pretty awesome. You can see that Kruth is almost maxed out already too, so he's almost level 5. I'm guessing that that's the highest level that regular creatures can achieve. We'll see how high Scraw gets. But for now, let's take a look at... Oh, what's this? Draknar himself is asking us to capture a legendary creature. Luca, our hero, thinks that it's impossible. And Draknar basically says, toughen up. So now we're able to start getting runes of Draknar. So the crazy old man now thinks that Luca is crazy for even thinking about capturing legendary creatures. Ooh, and now potions? Okay, so we have to clear 5 zones in Forgotten Lands before Baldin's gonna help us get the runes of Draknar to capture legendary creatures. So let's just take a peek at the map real quick. It looks like we've made it to Zone 4 finally. So just by episode 5, we're at depth 4, Forgotten Lands. And if you look down at the bottom on the difficulty scaler, 1, 2, 3, 4th depth, the 5th depth, I don't know what that will be. I only see one more zone, and I know that's that new desert region that was unlocked. So I wonder what that last one would be, or what's the next one. But we've got a ways to go. Like I said, each one of these levels, these zones, has multiple quests to complete within it. So we've got to clear 5 of those to progress the quest, and I think there's a good chance that I will try to achieve that maybe in between recordings, just because I think seeing me run through level after level would get a little tedious, and you might just want to see like what's up, what's next in the quest line. So for the rest of this episode, we're going to explore using a level 2 Blessed Felwyn, compared to a level 3 regular Felwyn. So to do this, we're going to set up a Mystic Arcane team. Currently we have our Nature and Beast team. We're going to put all of them away. Just let them take a rest. We're going to take out 2 Felwyns. Or if you like using more of a Hispanic or Latino pronunciation, Felwyn. By the way, it's a day late, but for those of you watching from Mexico, hey, happy Independence Day. The 16th of September this year was Mexico's celebration of independence. So for any viewers watching from Mexico, I hope you're having an awesome weekend and you get to party a little bit. Viva Mexico, yeah? We're going to take Bodine on our team as well, just because he's a lot of fun. Oh, you know, he's a beast, though. We want synergy with the Arcane. I do like to take Grain, as my 3rd slot. And while Zarky could get some more levels, I think we want to level up Abu a little bit, too. Boo Boo is already level 4, not worried about him. And I'm still a little bit undecided about Xena and Akin. Depending on the space needs for creatures, like these might be a couple that I might release, like Xena. After considering the differences between Abu and Xena, Abu seems to be a little bit faster and do a little bit more damage compared to Xena. They both have the same number of attacks. Xena has a speed of 7, damage of 5, whereas Abu has a speed of 8 and a damage of 7. And granted, it is 1 level higher, but it seems like Abu is just a more solid character for the team. But I do like Xena. I mean, the owl looks so cool. And Akin isn't necessarily cool, but, you know, I have the space, so why not keep it? Anyway, enough theory craft. Let's take a look at how these Felwyns perform. I've got the following lineup. There we go. Basic Felwyn has Prolonged Whirlwind, making the duration of their basic attack last for 0.7 seconds longer. The Blessed Felwyn is only level 2, no special synergies at this time. And Abu still has a trait point available. If you're wondering why I haven't spent that, it is simply because I want to see if the options change once I get another trait point for Abu. So 1 more statue of Draknar to adore, and Abu will get another trait. Currently we have what I would call less than desirable choices. Abu can reflect damage, and I don't like when my creatures take damage, so that's not going to see a lot of use if I choose it. Or gain 15% more healing from healing effects, so my healing effects do like 2 hit points. So gaining an extra 15% of 2 is 2.3 hit points, so I would get 1 extra hit point every 3 healing orbs, which just isn't that huge. And so I haven't spent that point in the hopes that once he gets another trait, that might unlock other options. So we're just doing a little playtesting, a little science to figure out what happens there. Right, so the damage effects, let's take a look at these two in comparison. Hit points of level 2 Felwyn compared to level 3, so it looks like the hit points are not affected by their rarity, nor is the armor, because I bet if I get Felwyn Blessed up to level 2, those stats are going to look very similar. Same thing with the damage, it looks like that also scales according to the creature, not according to their rarity. So perhaps the biggest difference in a blessed creature is that a regular creature can have up to 14 of these traits. Sometimes less. They can have like 1 to 14. Whereas a blessed creature can have 15 to 19 traits, I think. And a super blessed, I believe, has 20 possible traits always. Legendary, I have no idea. So, if you have any other knowledge about the difference between a blessed and a regular creature as far as their stats go, feel free to comment about that and let us all know. Otherwise, we're just going to try to level up the blessed Felwyn to level 3. So we're going to park regular Felwyn, and we're going to primarily use Abu. But let's just see on these test dummies, what does it look like, the difference between blessed and regular. Attack speed seems similar. Movement speeds are similar. So let's park regular Felwyn. And we'll go ahead and take Zarki. If we're going to be gaining some levels, that would be one that I would choose to level up. So for this video, we've got about 20 more minutes of time that I could spend demonstrating gameplay or progressing the quest. And something that we do need to collect are these scales. Now this says that this is an aggressive zone, an aggressive level. I'm not sure what that means, but you can see that we get scales from each of these zones. So I'm wondering if aggressive just means that the creatures are going to pursue us and attack us with more zeal, like they're going to see us at a further range. Here we've got the chains. I really don't like the Cursed Chains quest just because it narrows your field of view and traps you into a tiny little area to fight in, even though the rewards here are excellent. 2 particles, a blessed creature, and a statue of Draknar. That's not bad at all. Level 2 bone out of that one. Nothing there. Fragments, level 2 pearl. So at depth 4, I'm not seeing a lot of anything exciting to go farm. Could get a scale from a level 3 Ancestral Graveyard. I'm just showing you what quests are available in each of these different zones at each depth to give you an idea of the options that become available. And it's starting to look like the statue of Draknar is partial to the Cursed Chains type zones. And as we go further back into the depths of going more basic, you'll see that we have less or fewer options of quests. So at depth 1, we can only do Gatordrick Forest, and there's only one objective. At depth 2, we can do Gatordrick or Kiha, and there is one objective to each. At depth 3, our previous depth, we have 3 objectives, and up to the Ancestral Graveyard is available to play. And then at depth 4, again, multiple objectives depending on the zone. But we're just going to progress that main quest, getting the 5 objectives completed for the Forgotten Lands. We don't have any exclamation points on these objectives just because it is any objective I believe will credit that quest. So we could start on whichever one we like, and I think going for that particle and a scale is going to be the most helpful to begin, and we might see another quest appear into the choices after we complete this one. So, with no further ado, let's go adore some more. Oof. First time going into Forgotten Lands, and I'm guessing this will be an area that mystic creatures are prevalent. We saw Fubu up at the top of the map. Here's a Odin. And the strategy we're using on this team is that Felwyn goes out there, triggers the enemy's first attack, while Zarki is charging, and then Zarki hits about the time that the enemy's... Oof, except Fubu is hitting pretty hard there. Okay, so not very impressed with the Blessed Felwyn. If I'm being completely honest, that's not the strongest character I've seen. Oof. Creatures in this zone are hitting hard. So let's go movement speed on this one. We got a Nira coming after us. I'll be honest, this team might not be high enough level for this zone yet. That's okay, we gotta learn. Gotta try things. So, worst case scenario, if we do get defeated in this zone, we'll just come back in and collect our stuff with the higher level team. We've got the important thing to me was getting that last particle of Gator Drick so that we're topped off. And the second most important thing will be finding that scale. So as long as we can survive long enough to achieve those goals, I'll be pretty happy. Wait for Nira to exhaust their attacks. Summon a Zarki. There we go, 1, 2. We can continue to luck out and pull these creatures individually. Shouldn't be in too much trouble. We've already got 2 of our creatures cursed. It looks like Zarki's just right on the edge there. Oh, the dodge was a little slow triggering there. So it seems like the game's rendering graphics of attack animations takes a priority over receiving commands from the player's controls. Because what should have been a dodge followed by the enemy's attack turned out that the enemy's attack animated first, and then it registered the input on my keyboard of the dodge. Resulting in me taking 17 damage from that attack. No bueno. And I'm not going to say that that's a programming thing as much as I think it's just a networking thing, that the communication with the server or the game somehow is just not pinging in a priority that makes the most sense to me. So we've got 3 different zones to choose from. We're already pretty heavily beat up here. Take a chance and see if we feed Felwyn, that restores a fair amount of hit points. Just use all of our food, why not? Stay in the fight a little bit longer, yeah. So here's a creature I have not seen before. They're summoning little mushrooms. I would like to capture this thing just to see what it... Stop summoning little mushrooms, you bastard! Oh, and here's a bomber squirrel, too. Oh my goodness. All the things that I need to catch are here. Now there's 2 of them bothering me while I'm trying to catch one of them. You go get the bomber squirrel. totally ineffective. Did the bomber squirrel just heal? Is that what I'm seeing? Oh my gosh, this is sad. How much damage these things do. And they're healing themselves? No. There we go. Venra! Yay, we've discovered a new creature. Finally, got that. I call it a bomber rabbit. I guess its name is Venra. We're down to 19 health, so we gotta be very careful here how we proceed. Try to break tether on that encounter and see if we can get them to reset their positions. I notice there's a lot fewer healing orbs in this zone too. Let's see if we can switch these out. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Abu and Zarki switch places. Yeah, there's not very many ceramic vases here, and that means that we're not getting as much healing as this team was kind of built around with the Adorer's artifacts. Another unidentified object, perhaps a new artifact. Yeah, slim pickings on healing in the Forgotten Lands. And I'm guessing that's a trend that will continue, less environmental resources as we go deeper into the game. So you'll notice on the Adorer that one of the artifacts that I'm using not that one. So it's in the I don't know what to call it. There's like a magic tree in town that has like relics that you can choose and empower. And one of those, anyway, I can't see it on my inventory currently, gives me the ability to create healing orbs at a 20% chance, I think, 15% chance whenever I break open one of those ceramic vases. So there you can see it created 2 of them. Good luck there. Lots of creatures that we haven't discovered yet, so we're definitely going to be learning a lot more about the bestiary in this level. The more we play through it, I'm sure it will reveal more creatures for us. But we're going to take our time with that because it is a pretty high difficulty area. And these burrowing creatures are annoying because they trigger their animation to burrow into the ground every time my creatures get close to them. Means that I have to time my attack. Oh, and there we go. Around the timing of theirs. And we did not find the scale like I was hoping, but we did get... forget the name, Verna or something. We got an essence, we got an artifact. We'll come back and collect our dropped fragments in gold. Rough level. Wow. So note to self, if you're going to be leveling up creatures, don't start in depth 4. It's a little too rough for my level 3 team. So they're going to take a bit of a vacation here. They're going to rest. Belwyn barely got any experience out of that anyway. Let's see, regular Felwyn costs 50 to summon. Blessed Felwyn, same thing. We can easily find another regular Felwyn. I think we're going to release this Felwyn. We're going to release Akin. And we are going to release Xena. Meanwhile, we will create a bond with Venra so that we can see the stats here. A little two-legged kangaroo rabbit bomb thrower thing. When hitting the ground, creates projectile damage, so area effect, so it throws bombs just like we saw in the regular gameplay. Speed of 6, damage 3, so not great damage. However, that area effect damage can hit multiple targets, so crowd control. We do need to get a team on hand, so we're just going to take out our beast and nature team to continue with the depth of 4. There we go. Take Scraw. And I'm fairly certain that with my level 4, level 5 team, we should be performing a little bit better in the Forgotten Lands. Before we go to recover our gear... Oh, and look, it said that we've cleared 3 out of 5 areas, so just one section of each map counts as an area. And the artifact that we just picked up is the Arcane Fur. Receive a bonus to movement speed when we receive a creature by touch, as opposed to the Recall Orb. So we do have an option for improving our movement speed through that. Let's check that dish of the day and see what we can get for food. Greedy, sharp, 70% health. Well, we don't have any gold on us, right? Doesn't matter. We just have to go get our stuff. Oof. And now there's a level 2 scale. I don't need level 2 scales, I need level 1 scales. That's okay. I'm sure we'll need level 2 scales at some point. Alright, going for stuff. Both of these creatures have armor on them. So we're taking a little bit of damage. That was because those were up-armored. Had to break through their defenses before we could stagger them. But the Nature Beast team, being a little higher level, is performing much better in this zone. 1, because their attacks come out faster. 2, because they've got more healing effects. 3, because they are higher level. So just look at the difference in how fast we're clearing this with our Nature and Beast team compared to the Arcane and Mystic team. You know, all these creatures are going to have their own styles and effectiveness. But just gaining levels seems to be, in my opinion, I think the best way to get ahead. Their hit points are going to be higher, their damage is going to be higher. And the real benefit is that will make the previous content at earlier depths that much easier to clear. Getting surrounded by little goats. Those Bodines are tough. They're taking some damage, aren't they? Like when I use Bodine, he's small, kind of squishy, doesn't take a lot of damage. But these enemy Bodines are tough, like they're taking some hits. So maybe there's more to be seen if we get Bodine up to some higher levels. Maybe his hit points and defensive power, I don't know if that's armor. I don't think armor's really in the game yet for player creatures. Maybe there's more to Bodine than we've seen. But for right now, I just want my stuff back. And we've completed that next stage in the quest, so we could say that whenever we're done here, we can go back and talk to Baldine, the character in town that wants to help us learn to capture legendary creatures. And progress the quest just a little bit more that way. Boo Boo's using a special attack on us like that, how rude. Oh geez, there's that dodge timing again. See, it's not allowing my character to dodge before the enemy finishes its attack animations. So my Adorer is getting hit, like kind of getting frozen in place and getting hit. And then, after getting hit, it allows me to dodge. So something's just off there. Something with the timing and the controls versus the animations. And again, I don't think that latency that I'm seeing in my dodge attempts is a factor of the game's coding. So I'm not saying that like, oh, the devs messed up on that. What I'm saying is I think that, one, I'm using like wireless keyboard and mouse setup here. So there could be a low battery issue. It could be just a signal issue. I've never had a problem with, the impulse on command keys creating a lag like this. And it shouldn't be time for a battery change yet because I have not been gaming as much as I normally would be in my free time. Been rather busy at work lately. So the only thing I can suspect is that it's something about the way that my console is communicating with the game, that it's just prioritizing packets differently for some reason. There was recently a Windows update, and I hate to say it like this because, Microsoft is doing some great stuff, but, every time they do an update, it's like something else breaks, you know what I mean? So maybe that something is just in the prioritizing of inputs. We're starting to see something out of that recent update. Could you imagine developing a game and having to constantly update and synchronize all of these little issues of inputs and outputs, your different gear setups, and making sure that you could provide your content to multiple platforms? I mean, that's just a lot of work. So kudos to you if you're a programmer. I dabbled in it with high school. This is back in the time when it took, a full team. It took us months to develop 3D animation. Nowadays, we have software that creates a framework that you could just animate and then texture or add skins over the top of it. So, while it has become easier, I think that the market has greater expectations as a result. So well, designing a product is easier. You know, the access to that product, the utility of that product. I think that the player demands have definitely gone up. Or the viewer, for that matter. Like if you ever watch a CG movie, you know, how much of that do we take for granted these days? All the animation that goes into that, and the decades of work that developers have put into designing products to make their own lives easier just to entertain people. I mean, it's pretty cool. Okay, here's one of those mushroom guys. I think I'm going to try to capture him. It, she, I don't know, just to see what happens here. Oh, Scraw. Combat tethered, you missed. Oh, and here comes a Nira, of course. There's always an ad. It's just the way this game rolls. No! Stop the attack, Kruth. Why? See, again, it was that control thing where I was trying to summon back Kruth after the second attack, and it allowed him to render his next attack before the summon command actually executed. There is definitely something going on today that is different than the last time I played a door. The only thing different that I'm aware of, because I don't think there's been any updates to the game since last weekend, is that there was a Windows update this week. So if I had to suspect anything, I think that's it, but like you just saw that Kruth there did a third attack, and I was clicking the recall button before the end of his second attack. And he went ahead and did a third attack, despite those inputs saying, hey, you're being recalled. And that resulted in me killing that creature instead of weakening it to try and capture it. Sad face, oh well, there will be more opportunities. After all, it's just entertainment, it's just the game. You know, I never understood why people get so serious about, like, you know, playing the game their way, gotta do it just right, everything has to be perfect. You know, it's like, hey, if that's your thing, that's cool, but not everybody's like that. So I try not to be too toxic and just, you know, keep a light heart. It's like, yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy it. I love the reward of playing a game, being entertained. But, you know, at the end of the day, you turn off that power button, it just goes away. So take it for what it is. This game is fun. It's entertaining. And there's going to be some tough spots, some disappointment. But there's also reward, and I feel like I've still just barely scratched the surface. Like, I'm only starting to collect blessed creatures. I'm comparing their stats. I'm learning what that's about. We still have super blessed and legendary creatures to get through. We still have 2 more zones, I guess, of content, 2 more depths to achieve. Not to mention the game is still under development as it is in early access. Hey, that's just a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment, just waiting for the future. So week by week, you know, for me being a casual gamer, you know, I'm not going to go recording videos every single day. But I believe I've put close to 30 hours of time into this game already. And it's keeping my interest. It's a lot of fun. We have recovered our gear, so once we finish this zone, I think that's going to be a wrap for this episode 5 of Adore the Quest. We'll progress the main quest here because we do get to talk to Baldine, so you'll see the start of the next set of quests for this depth 4 in the Forgotten Lands. Hey, we get the scale. None of our creatures. Oh, I guess Zaya got cursed. So we're probably going to have to play a few zones of low-level content just to let our creatures heal up and maybe to gain some levels for that Blessed Felwine so it can be competitive for higher depth content. Oh, but we've got one more zone to get through. And look at this, there's still very few ceramic vases, very few opportunities for me to get healing orbs or more gold. So, something to consider if you are farming for resources, that the Forgotten Lands is not a good place to farm for materials such as gold or to level up your creatures. Get rid of that bunny rabbit creature. We've already weakened this creature up here, so I think we're going to try to capture this. Oh. There we go. New creature in the roster. And I think I saw that there was a mushroom guy over here. Might as well try to capture that too before we leave. Just to unlock as much as we can about content and see what all these things are. Come on, Pruth. You completely missed your target. These little mushroom guys are tough because they seem to have the logic to be able to hide behind a wall. Oh, and they die so easily too, like just 2 hits and it was done. Oh well. I'm sure that we'll see more of the little mushroom character in other episodes. So stay tuned, and today we actually discovered 2 new creature types that we'll take a look at in the bestiary once we get back to the main village. Check the map one last time, no forgotten resources, good, and we're back to the village. The refuge. So, taking a look. We just captured a new creature type, Brior. Looks for a new target between each attack, so this creature will bounce between targets. And, ooh, it has a stun effect in an area. And for each enemy hit gains armor, so this is a super tank creature because it's got crowd control, it buffs its own armor with its special, and it gets aggro against multiple targets. It's going to go hit one, then another, then another. So all of the enemies that you're facing in the fight will be focused on Brior. While Brior gets armor, stuns them. Just imagine the combination using this beast with Zaya and Domu. Domu with the area effect healing, Zaya also having the ability to stun targets. I hate to say, Scraw, even though blessed, might take a back burner. Great DPS on Scraw, but we've got some leveling to do, so maybe Scraw would be best suited in a lower level team while we're leveling them up, because I really think that Brior is going to be a great member to my Beast and Nature team. Exciting stuff in the world of Adore. Let's take a look at that bestiary really quick before we proceed with the quest. So we can see we finally got Venra, as I refer to it, the bomber squirrel. There's the monkey boss from depth 2, the tiger boss from depth 1. A creature we have never seen before, still locked. There's the boss Azuna from depth 3. Here's a creature that we have seen but not yet captured. I'm not sure what that is. This one must be the little mushroom character that we've been trying to catch and I've been failing at doing. And then there are 7 more that we have never seen, plus this creature here that we have seen but have not captured yet. So still quite a lot of things to discover, even while we're about halfway or more through the game. We have 8 undiscovered creatures, 3 bosses that we have seen so far, plus 1, 2, 3 creatures that we have seen but not captured yet. So there are at least 11 creatures that we can still add to this, not counting the legendaries. 25 out of 39, and I'm sure that there will be more creatures added in the future. But for now, we'll just go update the quest, see what's coming for next week in episode 6 of Adore the Quest. Okay, so we have to find Kisara to get one of the runes that we need to progress the quest in next week's episode of Adore the Quest. Before we sign out, we'll just take a look at the dish of the day, see what's on the menu. A health and divine protection meal, why not? Here is the Adore's runes that we can unlock one more for 10 points. Just to show you that healing perception that I was talking about, we've got a 10% chance of creating a healing orb from urns. This might not be that effective in the Forgotten Lands because you saw there just wasn't very many urns. We have one that increases movement speed and one that heals our creatures when clearing an entire map. So helping with the recovery between maps. And the only other option available to us at this time is either to save gold when we die, which I don't care about, or increasing our maximum health. And seeing as these healing perceptions are now going to be limited by the playing field's lack of urns, we're going to remove that, get one of our points back, and we could either put that into willpower, healing our creatures, or we could just equip this rune at a level 2, increasing our Adore's maximum health by 40, keeping us in the fight a little bit longer. So when totally unlocked, we could have 2 runes of maximum power, or 3 runes with some division of 6 points. But there's the current status with the runes, and I appreciate that you have taken the time to watch this episode of Adore the Quest. This is episode 5. Nobbler, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.